how to admit you were wrong and apologize for it without coming off as weak or groveling or as though you're just trying to make excuses for yourself. We're going to go over several ways, several thought processes that you can go through in order to turn this admission and apology exercise into something that is a relationship builder. Whether this is for your professional life or whether this is for your personal life, this video is going to help you be more accountable for your actions and how it's going to help you learn how to discuss them in a really emotionally informed way so that there is trust building and that people really begin to see you as someone who is reputable and who owns his or her own actions. Okay, if that sounds good to you, that's what we're talking about today. First, I'd love it if you check to see if you're a subscriber here. And if not, click the subscribe button and the little bell so that you'll get notifications when we drop videos like this to help you live a happier and more productive life. And I'll be right back.
Guild Coaching. More success, less stress.
We all screw up from time to time. We are perfectly imperfect humans. And there may be situations in your personal life or at work that warrant an apology sometime. It's no big deal. Like, everybody messes up. Me, you, everybody. Maybe you were late for work. Maybe you missed an important deadline. Maybe you had a moment of uncharacteristic behavior. You know, it happens. There are several reasons it's important for you to apologize for your actions. An apology can show that you acknowledge your actions. It can be a trust building exercise. In addition to showing that you acknowledge your part in a situation, when you acknowledge how your actions affected others or could have affected others, you're actually expanding and showing your expansion of empathy. So for example, if you apologize about tardiness at work, you're acknowledging that not only were you late to work, but your tardiness had an impact on the team as a whole. And then you're showing your colleagues, you're showing your supervisor, you're showing your colleagues that you understand how that directly affects the projects that you're working on together. It can help you build trust. Certain actions can break trust, and trust is more easily broken than built. But an apology can help improve the situation, and it can help your peers begin to trust you again. When colleagues trust each other, they're more productive, they're usually more team-oriented, they're usually more creative together and collaborative, and that helps everybody. When people own their actions after they've messed up and then they apologize for them, it actually decreases stress in the workplace, and then it also helps all of you improve your communication. So that's why you should apologize, in addition to it being just the right thing to do. If you don't apologize, it will damage your relationships. It will limit your career opportunities because people won't see you as someone who's reputable. They won't see you as someone who's trustworthy. And it could give people incorrect impressions about you. It's possible that people that you work with could have a lower impression of you than they should if you don't apologize when your actions, your words, whatever, impact somebody else. If you express remorse for something you've done, an apology can actually increase a colleague's impression of you, and it can make them more happy or more excited to work alongside you. Also, when you don't apologize, it shows a lack of integrity, and integrity is essential in the workplace. So let's get to the part about how to apologize for a mistake at work specifically. These steps also work in your personal life. You just have to tweak them. It'll make sense. If you stick with me, it'll make sense, the little tweaks that you need to make. So an apology that comes too soon after the incident may be timed wrong. You've got to apologize quickly, but not too soon. You have to let the other person know that you regret your actions, and hopefully you will also express to them how you plan, steps that you plan on taking to continue working on your relationship without further bad decisions or mistakes or whatever you want to call them. So sometimes it might be a good idea to wait just a little bit longer to issue an apology because different people have to process things at different speeds. So in the case of like a larger escalation, assess the situation, see if all people who were involved may be having, the best amount of space to process everything before deciding when to actually apologize. I know, let's just take my marriage, for example. If something happens between my husband and me, let's say that he does something that hurts me or really irritates me, and I haven't fully processed it, but then he comes to apologize, it's just going to get worse. I'm just telling you, it's just going to get worse. Apologizing too quickly when the other person's emotions are still high could not only risk them not accepting the apology, but it could add insult to injury and explode the situation even bigger. So then next, after you figure out kind of the right time to apologize or how much time you need to give it, what you're apologizing for can determine if it's appropriate for you to either apologize in person or an email or a phone call. I would recommend in person if at all possible, because eye contact, eye to eye, showing that effort of going and seeking out the person or meeting that person is so meaningful. It will help them see that this is genuine. The effort that you put behind it spells out genuineness to people. Okay, so those apologies allow for more effective communication. They reduce the risk of misinterpretations. Have you ever sent a text or an email to somebody and they just did not read it the way you intended it? So you don't want to do that in this situation, because then that also would make it worse. Okay, so don't turn this into an explanation. Turn this into an apology. If that person chooses to have a conversation with you about it later, or right then when you apologize, then explanations can come in, but explanations given before they're asked for are excuses. So if you give an explanation before that person is ready to receive it, all you're doing is making excuses, and excuses are going to make the whole thing worse. Make sure when you're apologizing to someone that you use their name. When I teach salespeople strategies to be more effective, I tell them, always know your prospect's name. Always know the person's name and use their name several times, 3 to 5 times your first time together. Now, my name is Jane. So let's just say somebody says, "Hi, Jane. How are you doing today, Jane?" Well, Jane, I wanted to talk to you, but it's not like that. You don't like try to pack it into 3 sentences, but just sprinkle their name in. It was the first word that we were called by people who loved us that mattered a whole lot. So when we hear someone say our name, we know that that is meaningful communication. It adds sincerity. All right. And that is my 4th point for you. Apologize with sincerity. If you can't be sincere, keep your mouth shut. Plain and simple. Maybe you need to have a conversation instead of an initial apology. Hey, I'd like to discuss what happened. You know, that can help both of you guys understand each other. If you really don't feel like you should apologize right now, maybe the conversation will bring to light that maybe 2 apologies are necessary. But an insincere apology not only sends the wrong impression, but it can really damage your relationship. Okay, so try reflecting on the situation and considering the other person's feelings, so that can help you there. And then also validate how the other person feels. Someone was telling me how she was feeling about a situation. It didn't really involve me. I was a bystander, so I was just keeping my mouth shut. But she was telling me how she felt about it, and she was telling me her perception of this situation, and I just validated, wow, you know, that must be really hard to feel that way about this, and blah, blah, blah. I thought she was completely wrong with her perception of what had happened. I thought that the other person hadn't done anything wrong, and that we just had 2 people who weren't communicating well. And later on, she made some statement about, well, Jane agreed with me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, whoa. I never agreed with you. I actually just didn't disagree with you. I was just validating how you feel. So validating how somebody feels doesn't mean that you agree with them. Even if you don't totally understand their exact position, even if you don't share their feelings, it's important to form your apology in a way that is informed of their feelings, to show that their feelings are valid. And then your apology all of a sudden has so much more credibility. if you can say, I completely understand how my actions impacted you, and I am very sorry for the pain that they caused. It doesn't mean like that you're saying your feelings are completely right. You could think that their feelings are just a bunch of hoo-ha. But they're still their feelings. I completely understand your feelings. I understand what you've communicated to you, and I understand how my actions took part in that, and I apologize. I never said you're totally right, because you might think that they're just cuckoo. And that's fine too. Just don't say that. Admit your part as part of the apology. Take responsibility for your actions. Do not take responsibility for more than your actions. Refrain from making excuses. We already talked about that. But if you feel like you have to provide rationale, consider if your reasoning can make a positive difference in the relationship with this person or help you avoid situations like this in the future. And if it's not going to escalate your relationship to a more positive level or help prevent things like this from happening again, then you don't need to provide rationale, all right? And something else that's really, really important is explain how you plan to correct this. If it was just, a one-time stepping out of your normal character or something like that, show that you've put some thought into how to make this right. And as an ongoing rule, after you've apologized to someone, just make sure that you stay true to your commitments to them. Once you share how you plan on preventing a recurrence of this problem, then keep your promises, follow through, and that follow through will show them that you are in fact sincere. So that is why you should apologize. It is how you can decide to apologize, some elements of that. I hope that this helps you in your personal and professional life. If this did help you at all, give me a thumbs up. And before you go, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you learn the next time we drop a video like this to help you live a happier and more successful life. I'll see you next time.